Writers often jumble the use of time in their memoir. The time in which the story unfolds. This is the story's time. It is considered to be the present of your memoir. When I write, "She ran into the woods," I have used a verb, ran, in the past tense, but for the reader the action occurs at that moment in the narration. We say that the moment of the narration is the memoir story time present. While I have used the past tense, ran, the reader sees the woman in the mind's eye as present. It is as if she were actually running at that moment. We do not envision this as in the past, but in the present. We call this use of time the historical present. But before we go on to today's video, let me welcome you to the Memoir Network's Better Memoir Writing Masterclasses. I am Denis Ledoux, writer, teacher, and founder of the Memoir Network. I'm so pleased you have joined me today. This masterclass is brought to you by the Memoir Network's premier long-distance course, The Memorable Story, Write Your First Memoir Draft. Transform your struggling manuscript into an interesting and meaningful story via this in-depth university-level course. It is available in print and in audio. To learn more about this course, see the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the historical present. Even though you have used the past tense, the reader of your memoir is always mentally in the present of the story. The action is occurring as if in the present. Here's a line from a text I edited recently. The present of the text is in 1959. There is an automobile mentioned. The writer, who was writing in the 2020s, mentioned in the story that her parents had an old 1957 Ford. That is, a car that was only 2 years old in 1959. How could that have been an old Ford? By most people's definition, a 2-year-old car is a fairly new car. Now, what the writer had forgotten was to place herself as the writer in the historical present, which was 1959. Instead, she was thinking of the 2020s when she was writing at her computer. Sure, by today's standards, a 1957 Ford would be considered an old car, and if she were writing from the point of view of the present with somebody having a 1957 car, she would be justified in calling the Ford old. But she had failed to remember that the historical present, the memoir present story time, was 1959. The historical present of her memoir, she had not kept that in mind. Here's a takeaway. As you write, stay always in the present of your story, the historical present, not in another time, especially the time at which you are writing the story. This is not the story time. Doing this will create clarity which your reader will appreciate. Memoir story time, present versus the past. What tense would work best with portraying my memoir story, asks a memoirist. Tense, of course, refers to the time of a verb, while the past, or the historical present, is a more usual choice for a memoirist. The present tense is also an option. It would be hard to say that one is better than the other, but my own preference is always for the historical present. It gives me, as the author, some distance to ruminate on what is going on in the story. In the present tense, however, the conceit is that I am in the thick of the action, the I who is the author. It would be inexplicable for me, again as the writer, therefore, to give a summation or a reflection of the conceit of the story, since that is still unfolding. So how can I have any purchase on the experience? If you choose to narrate your memoir in the present tense, your story time is still set in the past, but you cannot respond from the writing present from the time in which you are writing, because the conceit is that you, the author, are there in the past. If you would like to explore this use of time or anything else, receiving help with your memoir on any aspect of memoir writing or publishing, know that we offer a 30-minute complimentary get-to-know-you coaching consultation. The link to a free consultation is in the description below. Before you go, please hit the subscribe button at the bottom of this video and click on the bell next to it. Subscribing assures this memoir writing content will appear on your YouTube homepage and on your recommendations bar. Check the description below for a link to this week's free video e-course, and remember, inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's hard. Good luck writing your stories.